Hey everybody, glad to see you. Hey, I'm going to be battling the wind on this video. Be a lot of noise, so I'm going to try to talk loud if I can. But I got a lot of things to cover in this video. Just a lot of little odds and ends that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. And I'm gonna start out with a shelter, a bed. A friend of mine, he's got a channel called Tony Bushcraft. Okay, and he had made the comment one time that I had said something about I had some more shelters that were coming, and some different kind of shelters. And he said, "How could you possibly have a new kind of shelter?" And so I said, "I got plenty of them." And I said, "I'll name one after you." So what I've got is I got one that it doesn't really have a name, and I've done it before. I did it in I think I did it when I was on my survival vacation video. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it, and it didn't really have a name. It's elements of other shelters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up, and it shall be dubbed from here on out the Tony Bushcraft Shelter. Let me get this backpack strapped to a tree and we'll get started. Alright, for now, after that last video, my no cordage video, I kind of felt funny with no rope. So the universe is going to be all better because I'm back in all olive drab. I got my olive drab Alice pack, and I got rope and I got cordage. Life is good. Alright, let's get this off. And I'll talk just a little bit about some of the things I'm going to use on this shelter. Get this thing sitting down here. Alright, I'm going to roll you down here where you can see what I'm doing when I undo this. I use Fast Tex buckles to attach normally my rope and my blanket or tarp or whatever I'm going to use down on the bottom of my pack. So easy on, easy off. Now inside here I have my rope and my wool blanket, and it's held on by these two bungees. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead, I'll undo the bungees. These are my cloth covered bungees. I love using them. I've been asked about them in the past. These things are great. They got a million uses. I got carabiners on the end. I use them for strapping my pack to the tree and other uses. I got some more in here I'll show later. But anyway, I'll just take these. I strap one end of the frame of my pack, and then I'll just run these around the tree and attach it to the tree. That way my pack won't be on the ground. Right. So that way now I ain't got to worry about setting my pack on the ground and it getting wet or getting any bugs or anything inside it. Alright. This is something that I'm going to show in a minute. I can get all these leaves out of my wool blanket later, and I'll explain why I'm using wool instead of my beloved poncho liner. Alright, I got 100 feet of rope. And then I got 25 feet of rope. Okay, you need these, and then you need a Basha tarp. I'll get it out in just a minute. Alright, that's pretty much the elements to this shelter. The 2 hanks of rope and a Basha tarp, okay, and a wool blanket. Now for those of you that don't know, I know a lot of you have these, but the reason this is called a Basha tarp is this stands for British Army Standard Hotel Accommodation. Ain't that neat? Alright, now I've got my stuff ready. Let's go gather up 2 fairly big sticks. And we're going to lay them on either side of a tree. Now what you need for this is you need 2 great big oak sticks. about over 8 feet long. 8 to 10 feet will be good, and leg size probably, because they got to hold your weight up. Now I found me a big old tree over here, but there's a widowmaker leaned up against it. Hopefully I can push it out of the way, because there's a lot of small trees around here, and this one is perfect. Let's see if I can push this tree down. Another good thing too is all this stuff that was laying around on the ground is wet. That tree was standing up. So now it's nice and dry. It's firewood. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take one end of the logs, lift them up maybe about a foot, and tie both of them to the tree. Now, if you can see what I've done there is I've leaned both logs up and I've wrapped around both of them, and then I wrapped around the tree, and then I came up to the top. And then once I'm up to the top right there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it tight for the ridge line. Here's another view of it right here. You can see how I have the logs tied off and laid on the ground. And then I ran the rope up a little bit. And what I want to do is I want to run it down to where the ridge line is going to be going downhill. I'm going to tie it to that tree over there. Alright, this is kind of a basic overview. I got two logs leaned up, and then I've got them going down to the ground, and they're tied around to a tree, okay? And then I got the rope coming up, and I got a ridge line parallel to the logs. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start weaving a rope bed right here. You've seen it done before, but I'll show you how I get started. Alright, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my 100 feet of rope and just start making loops. Now the loops don't have to be real extremely tight. They can be a little loose, because you kind of want them to sag down as you lay in your bed. You just take the rope and you loop it under and over. See, I'm not concerned with pulling it real tight. You want to make the loops a reasonable amount apart, maybe 4 or 5 inches apart, spaced apart. It'd be pretty close, it'd be more comfortable. That's the reason why I use 100 feet of rope. If you use less rope, you can get by, but it won't be as comfortable. As you start to progress along down towards the end, when you get down to the end down there, what you need to do is you're gonna have to start lifting the logs up to feed the rope through. Let's see if I can capture that. You want them a little bit loose so that they'll kind of cup your body as you lay in it. There it is, I got it looped from one end to the other, okay? Now down there on the end right there, as you can see, that end might be going downhill just a little bit out of level. So what you want to do is you want to prop it up and put a stick under it. Now, to keep it from rolling around at night, get you a stick that's got like a leg on it. That way it'll keep it from rolling around at night, falling out from under it. Alright, now it ain't gonna roll around in the middle of the night. Now the next step, what you want to do is take your wool blanket and lay your wool blanket across the top with the sides kind of hanging down a little bit. And the reason you want to use wool instead of like a poncho liner or any kind of nylon or anything is because if moisture comes up through the ground and hits you and gets the bottom of it wet, that wool will still keep you warm even if it gets a little bit wet or moist. Now, at night what I'll do is I'll put my backpack at the head of it and that'll be for my pillow. I know the shadows are terrible, but let me go lay in it and see how it looks, how it feels. Nice and cozy. Oh. And let me put the cover over it. Now I'm going to put on my Basha tarp. And the Basha tarp, as opposed to other tarps, these things seem like they have a lot more grommets and tie-offs. Now whereas we have woodland camo here in America, this is called DPM, Disruptive Pattern Material. That's the British camouflage. It's really cool looking. Right here where this point is, I'll be tying this to the tree. Alright, what I have here now is paracord, bag of paracord. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tie one end up to the tree to keep it from leaking in, and then I'm going to tie the underneath under the logs. I picked the worst tree for filming because the shadows are terrible. But hopefully I'm going to get this set up, get it done and over with, and then I'm going to spend the rest of the video just running my mouth about things in the backpack. First part right here, I got this real heavy loop right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and I'm gonna tie it up against the tree, and I'm gonna kinda lift it up just a little bit. So what I'll do is I'm not gonna use the grommet. I'm gonna use this flat piece right here. Yeah, I need to get rid of these gloves. I'll talk more about the gloves later. Let's see. I can work with rope with the gloves, but not paracord. Alright, now what I want to do, I'm going to throw that over there, and I'll walk around the tree. Alright, now I want to lift up on it, and then you just simply tie it off. It's whatever knot you feel happy with. Alright. Got that. Alright, what I want to do next is that grommet right there. I want to wrap around. There's another one on the other side. I want to pull it around the tree real tight so that that block right there, so that that gap is blocked off and there's no wind that'll come in. Now, all I did is I just ran it through the loop on the other side so that I can just give it a pull and it'll be tight, and I run it through the bottom loop. See? I run it through the bottom loop right here. I'll give it a pull back. Alright, I got it tied off real good right there against the tree. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down there and I'm going to give that a good pull to pull the slack out of it. And I'll be using that end grommet. Now what I'll do is I'll take where the bottom grommets are, there's one there, and then there's a few more under there. I'll tie to them and just pull the paracord underneath, and it'll secure it kind of like tying shoes. Just take your paracord, tie it off. Just throw it underneath. Go on the other side and get it and feed it through. Now it kind of stinks having to throw that paracord underneath and pull it, because there's been times that I've pulled out what I've already put in. Anyway, let's see. Alright, now I got the other end. Alright, now you just pull it like a shoelace. And then you go around and you'll tie it off, and see, now you've got the underneath where it's not touching the ground. You got it pulled under real nice. I got you off the tripod here so that I can kind of show you. This end right here, you just want to kind of leave this end right here dangling. Okay? Now, I don't know if you can see inside or not. It's pretty good. Hey, look at that. There's actually enough light in there. Well, anyways, you can see that's what the inside looks like. There's the bed. And see, on this end right here, sometimes it touches the ground. That's one of the reasons why you want to use wool, is because if it gets wet, it really ain't going to matter. And that's where, if you're wearing boots, if you're like me, you sleep with boots on, that's where they'll be. Okay? Let me grab you another view over here. Nice and cozy. Like I say, you'll leave this end right here open. There's another view of the inside right there. I may crawl in. You crawl into this little tree here. Hey, for once in my entire filming career, I'm actually able to film the inside of a shelter without it being completely black. So, alright, now, normally this is very easy to get into, but, you know, with y'all hanging out here with me, but you crawl in from the end, there's normally not a camera watching you. Let's see. And then you just scoot yourself in. And I have my Alice pack up there as my pillow tonight. There you go. Whew. You know, it's not that bad, really, with no Alice, with no pillow. I got enough rope up there where it's like a pillow. And that should stop most of the rain, and it'll definitely stop the wind. Alright, Tony, there's your shelter, man. You got a shelter named after you now, isn't that great? Hey, for those of you that make videos, these little tripods are fantastic right here, because you can move them around in all different shapes and you can attach them to trees. Alright, let's go dig around in the backpack now, and I'm just going to run my mouth the rest of the video showing you some things. The rest of the video I'm just going to spend talking about some things I brought to show you, okay? Things that I hadn't covered in the past that I wanted to. Now, one time when I showed the V-grill and the pocket paracord seat, a guy asked me one time, he said it was a good idea, but he said he didn't think it'd hold him up. So, what I have that I never got around to showing, and that's been a while back, is what I just unfolded here. Is what this is this is the bottom out of an old chair. You know those folding camp chairs? Well, what I do is I just keep this thing right here rolled up, because it's got some serious grommets and some webbing built into it. And so what I do with it is I keep mine rolled up with some bungee cords, and I use it as a table. But you can also use it as a chair if you want to tie a rope to the ends and tie it to trees. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it up real quick, and I'll show you how to use it right here as a table. I'm going to set it up between these 4 trees. As you can see, all it is just the bottom of the chair with the grommet still in it. Tie a rope to it if you want to use it as a chair, and I just clip bungee cords to it. I'll go ahead and clip all 4 of them to it. Well, I clip to these 2 sides. If you can see that right there. Yeah, you can see that. And then I'm just going to attach to this side and give it a pull and tighten it up to these, attach it to these other trees. Now, as you can see, we have a nice little tabletop. Like I say, if you want to tie that off with rope, you got you a chair. So now I got a good tabletop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run back up there and get my stuff out of the backpack so that I can talk to you about it. Now, I got two things out of my backpack, okay? Now, the first one I'm going to shove over here to the side. See, one of the cool things about this is the way these bungee cords are, is that whatever you're not using, you can just cram it in between the bungee cords and it'll stay. See? And it'll generally hold up most of the weight that you want to hold up. Okay, I'm going to put this one, this has got a cook kit in it. So you can cram it inside here. And see, that holds it no problem. Hope you can see that okay. Alright, let me pull this out then. Alright, let's go back over here to the table and take a look. Alright, now, people have asked me in the past, and I'll get a little bit more into clothing here in a minute, but people had asked me in the past if I ever have any trouble with staying warm in those type shelters. Well, everybody knows that when you wear clothes, you sweat in them, okay? The sweat makes you freeze at night, okay? Now, this old-fashioned cotton thermal underwear has got a bad rap because you wear it under your clothes, you sweat, at night you freeze to death, okay? Well, I'm kind of old school with this, but I play it smart. I don't wear this stuff during the day, ever, okay? I know the new modern stuff like the Under Armour and polyester and all that, and the wicks away moisture. Well, I don't wear anything during the day. I just wear my clothes because I hike, I build shelters, I get hot, I get sweaty. Well, what I do is before I go to bed at night, what I do is I put the old full cotton thermal underwear on a piece at a time under my clothes. And the second I wake up, I take them off, okay? So that works for me as long as you don't sweat in them, you know, no problem. All right, I'm just going to lay them right here. Ain't no reason to pack them back up. Now, somebody in the past had asked me about a billy can, okay? Now, the term billy can, where it came from, billy can or zebra pot or Moore's pot, where it came from is, it used to be these large containers that they used to ship bully beef in. And I think it's an original Australian term, and I think the term billy can came from, kind of morphed from that, and it is also partial because they use these containers for boiling water and for making billy tea, okay? Now mine is a little bit more modified than normal because if you have to, the one thing that a billy can has to have is the lid has to be on very extremely tight so that the contents aren't dumped out, okay? Now, the way mine is made is when I'm cooking with it, I'll just set it on gently. Now, I don't have a lid that swivels, I mean a bail. I don't have a bail that lays over. Mine is solid. That way, if I have to, it's always standing up, and as I'm cooking, I can come over and lift it up while it's hot. Or, as a matter of fact, if I can't have a stick, I can use my machete and lift it up. And I can gently set it back on there. Now, my billy can has a removable handle, and it's got these little stobs on the side. There it is in the sunlight. You can see it right there. And what it does is I have a handle, and the heat doesn't get to the handle, okay? And the way it does is the handle is like spring-loaded. It fits into these holes, okay? So that I can hang my billy can. Okay? I can either hang it, it can swing, and see another thing that it can do is I can turn it over this way and I can hold it, and it takes a while for the heat to get up through here. Okay? Isn't that neat? And another thing is it'll lay completely over on the other side. And then on this side, the way those little stops are made, it'll come over and it'll stand up. That way, in case I want to set it on a grill or just set it in the rocks, I ain't got to worry about my handle being over in the fire. Isn't that cool? And as far as if this ever does get hot, one of the other things somebody had asked me about is about pot holders. No, I don't use pot holders. What I do is inside every jacket and inside my cook kits, a lot of times I will carry just a round piece of leather. See, that way you can put your hand in it and you can use it as a pot holder. Or another thing you can do is if you have to, if it's really hot, You could double that thing over and you got like 4 layers of leather if you have to for holding. Or you could just have it as a single layer. Isn't that neat? Alright, on to other things. Oh, one other thing that I wanted to show you. The sun's died down just a little bit, but I'm gonna kind of show you a close-up view of my billy can. How you can hold it. Let me raise the camera up a little bit. See how you can hold it? What you do is you put pressure on this wishbone looking thing as you squeeze it together, or you can just take it off. Isn't that cool? Put it back on. It'll stand up one way, it'll fall over the other way. And that's how you hang it. I don't think the sun was... Yeah, the sun comes and goes and bothers me real bad whenever I'm filming outside. Alright, one of the other things right here, I'll get you back down here. I have grown very fond of these little cups. It's called a folder cup. They're kind of neat because they fit together like this. And then you pull them out like, let's see. You pull it out like that. And then you've got a neat little cup and it holds hot liquids. You got a small one for coffee or hot chocolate and a big one for like oatmeal or grits or whatever. Okay, so all right, let me put all this stuff back in here. And all right, I'm gonna show you one more thing. Light my fire spork. That's pretty good for spork. All right, now I hear some kind of weird noise coming through the woods that I've never heard before, and I don't know what it is, and it's bothering me. I hope it ain't a logging device because it's very extremely loud. All right, now let me show you right here. Back to talking about those shelters. Here you go again. We're going to show you right over here. So isn't that neat? You just give it a hit. And them bungee cords, they work great. And this can be like your preparation table to keep you from having to lean over. Now, inside here, what this is this is an old case. I didn't make this. This was an old case that a sheet set came in, which is pretty good because once you have your stuff in it, you can fill it up with leaves and it becomes your pillow. Now, right here, I wear my boots to bed at night, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes, because of course you sweat during the day. Well, what I keep is an extra pair of wool liners and wool socks. And this is what I put on to sleep in to keep my feet warm. Half the time I'll leave my boots on, and sometimes I actually just put these two on, and I'm good to go for the night. Okay? Now let's talk a little bit about face mask to keep warm. What I have here is that is a Manzilla. Let me just pull all this out. I got a Manzilla face shield. It's a propylene, I think. This is a Shemog. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is a Rothco polyester head mask. And then I got some homemade things right here. And I'm going to try every one of these on to show it to you. And then this is called a Combat something. Wait a minute. It's a Combat Vehicle Crewman's Hood, balaclava. You can't read that, but it'll make more sense when I try it on. Alright, now I'm actually going to take my do-rag off. I'm going to take my do-rag off and I'm going to show you some of these things. Now, my do-rag, okay? I wear it at night. I mean, during the day when I'm hiking, okay? I wear it and it keeps ticks out of my hair. It keeps the sweat out of my eyes. And I like wearing it, period, okay? And it's good. It absorbs sweat out of my hair. Okay, now, a lot of people like the Manzilla. A lot of the backpackers, look at my beautiful hair. Good thing I ain't gonna be in a beauty contest. Whoop. So anyway, this is the Manzilla 100%, I think it's propylene. Yeah, propylene, okay? Now I'll tell you, I bought this because it's supposed to be ultra lightweight, moisture wicking, wonderful backpacker type deal, okay? Well, I don't like it, okay? Because it constricts around my neck too much. And it covers up your mouth, and I don't like breathing in at night while I'm sleeping through the mask. And there ain't much room to pull it down, okay? So I don't like that. I don't. Some people might, some don't. Now the Rothco version is a little bit better. It's 100% polyester, okay? You pull it over, and see, you got a full place right here for your mouth, your face to be sticking out. Okay. If you wanted to at night, if you got cold, you could cover your entire face up with something that's just a touch more breathable, like this gigantic thing here called a schmog or Kiev or Carrefour or something. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I'm Southern, but you could, if you had to. This thing's kind of breathable, and it's meant to go over your head in the desert in the heat to keep the sun off of you. Well, it's also kind of breathable because if it's made for hot weather, you could just lay it over your face at night, and it wouldn't necessarily smother you. And another thing, somebody told me that this was like an Army issue thing now. Another thing too is this is so gigantic, if you wanted to, one of the secrets to staying warm at night that I've noticed, especially in these lousy shelters, is to have something around your neck. Now you could double this thing up, and you could wrap it around your neck, or you could even triple it, or you might even could quadruple it and have 4 layers around your neck, keeping your neck warm. Okay. Now another thing you can do is, of course, keep a toboggan that you're not wearing so that you don't sweat in it during the day, because your hair is going to sweat. Okay. And then I make these things right here that are, I don't even know what to call them. It's like a tube. They're double layered, and I make them out of fleece. Okay. And they're great at night to sleep in. I have a short one. Okay. Because you can pull it down, you can put it around your neck, and I'm telling you, if you're in bad conditions, or if you're in a sloppy shelter, or if you got to lay on the ground even under just a tarp roof, if your neck and your head is warm, and naturally I always wear gloves, but naturally if your neck is warm, you're going to be okay at night. Okay. Now that's one. I made it, and I have made a longer one. This one is a lot longer because it can come up to your mouth. See? If you want to, it'll come up to your mouth. Or you can pull it all the way down and just really wad it up. Now, this thing right here, this is some kind of old military device. The combat crewman's helmet, or hood. I like it because it goes way out. And you can tuck it underneath your shirt. And it's double layered. This is double layered. And so you can take all this and you can shove all this down inside your shirt. See? And this thing is just, it's incredible because these others are single layer and this thing is double layer. Not to mention it's kind of cool looking. Alright, enough yakking about that. I got one more thing to show you. That's 7 minutes talking about hoods. Okay, I'll try to be quick on the machetes. I got to show you a cool modification that I did to my Condor machete. All right, I'm back at the old pack strapped to the tree. Now I want to show you something about a couple of Condor machetes. I was hoping to show you more, but I wound up, just as usual, everything I have planned just takes forever. Now, Condor Village Parang. Okay, it's a great machete. Now, easy down here. The way the belt loop is, it's a little tiny belt loop, okay? Little video thing. A belt will barely fit into that. I love the machete, I love all Condor machetes, but I don't like the belt loop. For one thing, whenever it is strapped to your belt, I don't like the distance of it because this handle right here will stab you. The handle's standing up too high. Okay, there it is. You can see it now. I'm out of the sun. When you have this thing attached to your belt, the handle's too high. So I have cured it with my Warlock. Okay, and I'm planning on doing the same modification with this one right here. All right. These are the modifications that I've done to my Warlock, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put you down on the ground to kind of show you what all I did to it. I got you in a pretty good spot right here. Now what I have done to my Warlock machete is, before it had the little bitty belt loop right here that wouldn't nothing hardly go through, okay, and it had all this handle hanging up. So what I did is I made a little stainless steel loop, and then I made a belt extender. Okay. Now the cool thing about this belt extender is that it's plenty wide enough for like a pistol belt. Okay. And on top of that, I thought to myself, well, since I'm making such a long extension, there's going to be some room right there. So I made this little pocket right here. It's a place for a ferro rod. Isn't that neat? And now that after I've gotten to using it, I'm going to put it on and I'm going to show you how it fits. And after I've gotten to using it, I'm thinking I could have made a bigger pouch right here even. And then on the back side, since this thing is leather, what I did is I got some industrial strength Velcro. And I made 2 elastic straps for it. That way it won't be flopping around on my leg. Isn't that neat? Alright, let me strap it on and I'll show you how cool it is. Alright, I got you right here now. A little bit better view of it. Like I say, that'll fit through a pistol belt if I want to. Because sometimes I wear a pistol belt with a butt pack. And then I like to carry a machete. And not many of them will fit on it. So, alright, let me lift this thing up right here. Slide it on my belt. Alright. Alright, now you can see the top part of it, how it's hanging. That there's the machete is plenty away from where the little ferro rod pouch is. And so I have a ferro rod and a striker inside there. Let's see. Because I figured, and like I say, if I had to do it over again, well, when I do the village praying, I'll be able to make maybe a bigger pouch. But for now, I guess this may rub against it one day. I don't know. This is kind of untested. But it's nice to have a good place to put a ferro rod with your machete. But then down at the bottom right here, I have these 2 elastic straps. And I have learned my lesson about using regular webbing and Fastex buckles. I don't like that because it's either too tight or it's too loose. And these being elastic is fantastic. And I don't like paracord on my machetes either, because over the years of wearing those, what I have discovered is that the paracord, if it's too tight, it's very constricting. And if it's loose, it winds up falling down your leg and irritating you. And the cool thing about this, the way I've designed this sheath right here, is the way it drops down, is it swivels right here, like that. It swivels no problem whatsoever. And the way it has this, it makes it easy to walk. So I am very, very extremely happy with it now. And the way I figured out, it's a funny thing, this first loop right here, it turns out that the first loop, the length that I need for my lanyard, it just happens to land at the first, it lands at the first buckle. That's the perfect size lanyard right there. It's not too tight and it's not too loose. And the cool thing is, like I say, the way I sheath it, because sometimes in the past I had been concerned about the lanyards flopping around and snagging everything. And the cool thing about this is it goes right inside this loop right here. Okay. But I just wanted to show that real quick because I'm real extremely happy about that. Ain't that neat? Oh man. Oh. I just love walking around with my new modified machete sheath. Isn't that neat? And it's great having oh, if anybody wonders, this is the Condor Warlock, and it is paired up with the Condor Woodlaw. Okay. I was gonna use them to start a fire, but well, you know how it is. Things are I don't know, time just flies. I don't know, I guess I talk too much. But anyway, I hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun. Of course, I always do with these videos. It ain't like I ever don't have any fun. Well, I don't know. Battling the sun can be kind of irritating. But to me, it's just fun to just get out here and make videos, spend time with you, you know. Show you some of the weird ways that I do things. Move that over a little bit. Yeah, alright. So, anyway, I got to start piling all this up because it figures that as soon as the sun is down, it's perfect for filming, but then it's already time to kind of start getting ready for bed, you know? So anyway, I'm gonna probably make some coffee before bed. I'm not even hungry. Anyway, you can see how handy that little table is right there, you know? I mean, it's just, and that thing will last forever. That seat is so strong. It is incredible. And with rope, well, with rope it's a seat. With this way it's a table. And the way the bungee cords are, you know, you can just cram your clothes and your cook set in it. And so, anyway. All right. I hope you had fun. And hope you wasn't bored. You know, maybe I covered a few things that people had asked about in the past. You know, about sleeping in them improvised type shelters and staying warm in the winter, and some of the stuff that I wear. You know, not everybody does the things that I do, but it works for me. So just remember, get out in the woods and have fun. And I'll see you in the next one. Can you see me? Alright, here, let me cut this lantern on up here. Let's see. Alright, there we go. That's much, much, much better. Now, alright, you didn't think I was going to let you go that quick, did you? Alright, Tony, be honored, brother. You're the first person I've ever named a shelter after. And it ain't just because the shelter didn't have a name. I actually wanted to name one after you. So now I expect for you to get some rope and a tarp and a blanket and set this bad boy up and try it. Now, it's pretty warm in here tonight, and but it's not getting below the 30s. It's in like the middle 30s, and I'm actually not that bad. And when I first put this mask on here, I think it was like Combat Crewman's hood, I think. I actually started getting kind of hot because it's very warm, double layer. But anyway, what was I thinking? I don't even know. Oh, it's pretty warm in here tonight. It feels pretty dang good in here. But anyway, I'll just leave you with a few thoughts. You know, don't spend your life in front of a TV. To the rest of you, get out and have some fun. Enjoy life while you can, while you're still young. And doesn't matter if it's in a tent or a hammock or, you know, in a shelter like this. Just get out and have fun. Enjoy yourself. Have fun in the woods. Alright, I'm going to cut this lantern off and I'm going to try to get a little bit more sleep. So, once again, till next time. I had to cut the camera off. Good night, y'all.